Hi, this is Terry from Nonpareil Soapworks. Today I'm going to be showing you this swirl. It's called a Nonpareil Swirl. Let's get started. First we have our distilled water. I use ice cubes when it starts to get warmer in my house so it cools down faster, so that's why the ice cubes are there. Now we have our sodium hydroxide and also our sodium lactate, and that's 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. The ice cubes that I used are just frozen distilled water that I keep in the freezer, and so I'm mixing my sodium hydroxide with my cold water, and then I set aside and let it cool under a vent fan. And then here are my colorants. It's Blue My Mind and Radioactive Green from Elements Bath & Body. I'm using this combination to get a turquoise color. I use the blue at 3/4 of a teaspoon per pound of oils and the green at 1/4 of a teaspoon per pound of oils. And I use a little olive oil to get it wet, and I mix with my palette knife on a sheet of plexiglass. And for this batch, I already measured my essential oils. They are a combination of peppermint, lavender, pink grapefruit, lime, and patchouli. And I added 1 teaspoon per pound of oils of kaolin clay to this mixture. And for the top of the soap, I'm going to make a gold drizzle, and this is diluted at a ratio of 2:1, 2 parts oils to 1 part of the gold. And I used Gold Rush mica. For the oils, I used half of the oils as castor oil and half olive oil. And I have already measured the lard and the coconut oil, and I melted that in the microwave. Next, I am adding my already measured castor oil, olive oil, and avocado oil. And to that I add my mixture of my essential oils and kaolin clay. And next I add 2 tablespoons of titanium dioxide mixture, which is mixed at a rate of 1 part titanium dioxide to 3 parts of olive oil. Here I'm adding my sodium lactate to my cooled lye solution. Next I am cutting my liner to make it smaller, and then I'm adding my gold for my gold drizzle. Here I'm checking my temperatures again. I usually soap between 85 and 95 degrees. And then I strain my lye solution into my oils. And now I'm weighing my bowl and the contents, and then I'm subtracting off the weight of the bowl, and then divide by 3 so you can have your 3 parts. And here I'm adding these 2 pieces of plastic to my partitions to try to get a little gold down to go all the way to the bottom. And next I just stick blend to emulsion. And next, I just divide my batter by 3. And next I just add my turquoise colorant to one of the pitchers. This batch I had planned to use the Taiwan circling swirl technique and use a tongue depressor for the swirl tool, as I had talked about in one of my other videos, but I could see this was already starting to thicken up too much, so I changed my mind to the other kind of swirl just to save the batch. And I add the batter just a little bit at a time. First I get just the bottoms full, and I hold down my dividers to make sure that none seeps under, so then I can just fill the rest of the mold up. And here I was just loosening the batter a little with my stir stick. And then I'm adding the gold mixture in between those 2 pieces of plastic that I added. Next I pull out those 2 pieces of plastic. And then I pull out my dividers. Most of the gold drizzle got stuck on the side of my pieces of plastic, so I just added it back to the top and I banged down my mold, and now I'm going to swirl. Okay, I'm finished with swirling in that direction. Now I just drag and then wipe off my stir stick and drag again, and you can do however many you want. So I got this pretty swirl, and I decided I couldn't leave good enough alone, and I went ahead and swirled again, and this is what I got. And I thought, oh man, I just ruined it. And so I just spattered on some of my remaining batter, the turquoise and the white, and I did a new swirl. It's always good to have a plan B, right? I banged on the mold again, and then I swirled back and forth again to spread out some of that turquoise and white. And next I'll do the same thing I did before. I started in the center this time, but I'll do 2 on each side. And each time you wipe off the stir stick every time you pull it through. And then I banged it down. You can see it's getting thick, so it didn't bang down very well, and I decided the ends needed pulled down too. And here we are. This is how it came out. And I just put this soap through gel, and I've had the heating pad on medium for 45 minutes, and then I leave it covered for 2 days. And this one I wasn't in any hurry to get it out of the mold, because you have to split it horizontally, and you want your inside to be a little drier when you do that. So I wasn't in any rush to cut it. And while I'm finishing this soap, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I learned from this batch. First, I would have cut off an end bar that's vertical to make this a 9-bar batch instead of a 10-bar batch, because I think that my pieces, when I made 10 bars, ended up being too short. They were around 2 inches tall. I would rather had them to be like 2 1/8 or so. Next time when I cut horizontally, I need to remember to cut 1 bar vertically and then split the rest into 8 bars. The next thing I learned is that I really like that combination of the radioactive green and the blue my mind. Those neon colors make a great combination to make a turquoise color. And also that Gold Rush mica is really fun, and I love the look of the drizzle on top. Although you can see it didn't go throughout the bar at all, it only went down about 1/4 of an inch. So I think back to the drawing board on that one, but I'm still not done trying to get veins of gold. I don't like the look of gold soap because it ends up being really yellow. So I am going to experiment more on making a gold vein in soap or a mica vein of whatever color you want. Also, I found out what the name of this swirl is called. I always called it a peacock swirl, but actually a peacock swirl has another swirl after this that goes in a wavy line back and forth to make it look like a feather. So I asked on the Facebook group Saponification Nation, and I found out that it's called a Nonpareil swirl. And while I am talking about Saponification Nation, anybody that's not on there, this is a great group for soap making to ask questions, and everybody is so nice on there. And if you have a question, you can search it on there, and if you can't find anything about it, you can just ask, and other soap makers will just give their opinion on it. And I've learned so much from there. So if you are looking for a group that's very supportive for mainly cold process soap making, this is a great group. It's headed by Amanda and Benjamin Aaron, and they also have Love and Soap Inc., and they have lots of ebooks and different things and a blog. So take a look at that. Another thing I learned is I really like the glass rod stirring stick as a swirling tool. It just really glides across the bottom, whereas when I use a wooden skewer, it just wants to jump across the bottom and doesn't seem to glide so easy. So I really like that tool for swirling. If you like my videos and you want to see more like this, just hit the subscribe button. And also, if you want to receive notifications when I post my new videos, just hit the bell for notifications. And I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.